It's time for a new character. Let's talk about a different character, and not the biggest character, but an iconic villain from the SpongeBob series. I selected Plankton or Shelton J. Plankton in other words, for a potential character that could be in this game. I came up with my own character ideas, and just as usual, I'm gonna bring up the roster, and something I want to also bring up is the fact that we're still waiting for a new character. So I'm curious to see who it is, even if it's not Jimmy Neutron or just somebody that could be added into this game. I'm excited to see who they get added, and I picked this character because he could be a great character and a good fit to be announced for our 23rd character to take a slot in this game. But we have 3 SpongeBob characters already in the game, but due to the lack of villains, Plankton would be a good ideal villain to represent the another SpongeBob rep to be implemented into this game to add into the roster. And considering the fact we only got 2 villains in the game, Shredder and Zim, and for the most part, the rest of the characters on the roster that you see on the screen are all protagonists or just heroes from the show. And they all have their own sort of adventures that we get to see and witness fighting off, whether it's fighting off bad guys, ghost busting, and preventing the destruction of the world from invaders and different other antagonists trying to take over the world for their own beneficial agendas. We don't know who's going to be next, and that's why I selected Plankton. Even though he's not the biggest character, he still can probably be added into this game, and he does not have to fight alone. But we're going to say that for the rest. We're going to say that going towards the end of the video, because I like always talking about the individual characters' movesets going towards the end. So I came up with stages, costumes, doing some research about the character, and getting to know Plankton a little bit more and finding out more about the character itself and the things that he wore throughout the different episodes. His whole intention was to try to run Mr. Krabs out of business and to stop the Krusty Krab from getting all the customers, and his business rival was Mr. Krabs, who also could possibly be in this game. But it's so many different characters from the SpongeBob universe that deserves a spot. Bubble Buddy, Gary, and so much more that can get into this. But this is all about Plankton and how he can be into this game and add it. And here's my little ideas, and just as usual, everything that I mentioned is going to be in the description of the video. You guys don't have to watch the full video if you don't want to, and it's completely optional. It's all in the description, and you guys can let me know what your ideas for Plankton and where you guys think he would be a good fit. It doesn't matter whether or not you think he can be in the game, or whether or not you want him in, or you'd rather have someone else from the SpongeBob universe to be represented into the game. That's completely fine too, because everyone likes different characters, everyone prefers different heroes or antagonists from different shows that can be a better fit with more offensive abilities. So we'll see what happens. But let's get into it. For stages, just to start, for starters, I came up with his business. He runs the Chum Bucket, and that's his business that's right across the street of the Krusty Krab. I was going to say of Mr. Krabs' business, or the Krusty Krab. And he doesn't get the customers that Mr. Krabs does with the Krabby Patties. And the reason why Mr. Krabs' business is so successful because of the Krusty Krab, because of the Krabby Patties. I'm messing up a little bit. The Krabby Patties themselves attracted the customers, and they taste so good that they just keep coming back for more and more and more. And Plankton has yet to still, I don't know if he has, because I haven't seen all the most recent SpongeBob episodes, if any. Plankton has still not figured out the secret formula in regards to the Krabby Patties and what makes them taste so good. If he can find that secret formula, if he ever gets it one day, he would be successful and be able to dethrone the Krusty Krab and be able to run it out of business and basically destroy Mr. Krabs' business once and for all. But has that happened yet? I don't think that ever has and ever will throughout the episodes. But I'm sure somebody out there probably seen all the episodes that probably can tell me how close he's gotten. Because every time he tries to get it, he just doesn't come out successful. But I selected his business for the Chum Bucket, and if they don't add Mr. Krabs in the game, he can come out. He can come out with the Krusty Krab as a good little stage to fit him. His rival business right across the street, that he would try to shut down and run out of business to stop the customers from coming there and people to come to his business instead. So that's just the second stage I selected, but I think this stage is another good one outside of just his business of the bucket itself. The rock bottom. Rock bottom is the scariest part of Bikini Bottom from the show, and no one really goes there. But you guys remember the episode when SpongeBob ended up finding his way and being lost and stranded out in the rock bottom. He was scared, and he was scared to death, and he didn't know he was going to be able to make it back. He didn't have a way back home, and all he was hearing was just these noises in the background. He just didn't know who it was. And so you eventually find out it was someone just waiting to get the bus, or to catch the bus, just like he was, waiting all night long and being stuck out there. That's one of my favorite episodes. But rock bottom is just a unique place for why not have a villain represent the rock bottom and be able to come out with that particular area, a different part or the darker version of the Bikini Bottom to come out with like a villain character like Plankton. That I think that'll be a great fit for him, in my honest opinion. But those are all the stages I came up with. I think it fits him. And just again, it's the scarier part of the town. It's the scariest part of the city that no one really goes there, and he can do all his plotting and schemes there as just a little bit of a fit for DLC, all-in-one DLC pack for Plankton. Now it's time for costumes, alternate costumes. I came up with a couple of stage references. I didn't just want to pick any sort of random costume and say, oh, he can wear this and he can wear that. I wanted to come out with different references of different episodes where you can actually see him wear these particular outfits and where I'm getting it all from. So, the first one I selected, it was his little Mr. Krabs outfit. I put Mr. Krabs Life Switcher outfit, where Mr. Krabs and Plankton changed lives, and he was part of a different alternate universe. It was when Plankton traveled to an alternate universe where he and Mr. Krabs swapped different life circumstances. And Mr. Krabs, this is like the tables turn. Mr. Krabs was the one that was actually trying to steal the formula from Plankton as the owner of the Krusty Krab this time around. So it was as if Mr. Krabs was Plankton this time around, and Mr. Krabs was turned into some sort of thief to steal the formula, or at least try to. And Mr. Plankton, as much as he wanted to be like that and wanted his lifestyle and be a part of the Krusty Krab, he ended up going back to his original universe because he just didn't like it there. It was something very different. But this particular episode, I'm referencing, he can wear Mr. Krabs' little outfit, just something, his little pants and his shirt. It's called the Algae's Always Greener episode that I referenced. So I had to get the right episode where he wore this particular outfit and where they changed lives, and you'd be able to get to see the different outcomes for Plankton and Mr. Krabs and how their lives are so different. So that's the first little alternate costume that I came up with. And it's just, again, look, all these characters in this game only have one outfit. So maybe they can add even more. He can have more than one, and one can be free, and then the rest could be like paid DLC or something. But the next one I selected, the Amazing Plankton outfit. And with this outfit, he did some kind of particular magic trick during the talent show, during the Culture Shot episode. I really like this one. It was when he was intending to make a heat for his stage act. He was intending to make a Krabby Patty disappear before the audience's eyes on stage during the talent show that was being hosted at the Krusty Krab, when it was all types of different characters attending the show, SpongeBob's parents, and so much more characters that were there to see the talent show. And many others were part of it. Gary was part of it as well, and SpongeBob, they all had different stage acts. And Plankton's act was to try to do some kind of magic trick, but he didn't have a magic trick to perform on stage. He was really just there to steal the Krabby Patty so he could get the secret formula and get everything that he needs to know to be able to find out what makes this Krabby Patty so special. But it's just another scheme to steal the Patty formula, but it didn't go well, obviously, for Plankton. But he did some kind of technique, but it also leads into a move, one of my very first moves that I came up for him for a moveset, but I'm gonna get into that when I get there. For what he tried to cast, his little magic spell that he tried to perform on Mr. Krabs. But I'll get into that when I get to his moveset. So it also allowed me to, it gave me an additional idea for how he can fight for his abilities and all. But now, the last little outfit that I came up with, I don't remember this episode. It was called the Krabby Roll episode, and he was starting a band. It was called the Patty Steelers band outfit. Squidward was so different. They had SpongeBob, Squidward, Plankton, and Patrick was also part of the band as well. So I don't know if anyone remember this, but I thought he could wear his Patty Steelers band outfit or his Patty Steelers band T-shirt, and he had that hairstyle, a long little hair that he had. It was some sort of wig, but he can wear that. That could be some kind of iconic paid DLC on the shop if they come out with one on this game, where the players can purchase these different skins and different outfits for all these different characters on the roster. Not even just with SpongeBob characters, but everybody else from time to time. Purchasable outfits that they can be able to select from, not just with a hat. How about some different skins that actually change their bodies and their different outfits for the color schemes and whatnot, and make it look even better with the designs. But that's all I could come up with for as far as his alternate costumes, and we talked about stages. So this didn't really take too long and for Taunts and animations. But an iconic quote that I end up finding out from the show is that every time something goes wrong with Plankton, he says, "Well, this stinks." That could be some kind of iconic quote that can go alongside with a voice line. When they get the voice lines added for these characters, he could be one of the characters that can have these unique voice lines and says different phrases and quotes and stuff like that. But I think this would be the most iconic quote. So even if he takes you out and he knocks you out, you take a stock off the enemy, it'll be really fun. It's just funny to see. And it can go both ways. It can go hand in hand. When you're about to get ready to lose, you're about to get ready to die and get launched, and you lose to get somewhere online, Plankton can say, "Well, this stinks," as a little iconic taunt. What do you guys think about that? And then, even when you're about to win, you can just play around with your opponent, tease him a little bit, have some fun, and just say, "Well," he say the same thing. So, "Well, this stinks," because the match is going to be over. See what I'm saying? So it'll be a perfect iconic quote that can fit him, and whenever he gets caught in his own schemes or he's stuck in a situation that he can't get out of, he's going to say that. Why not have him say that as an iconic quote and have him talk? And he should be one of those characters that can be able to have one of the voice lines. They can even surprise us. He could be one of the first characters to talk, and then they can get out the other ones slowly but surely to follow up. And then there's just some others that I put in my little list. I selected different secret formula voice lines. Where's the secret formula? You can have that. And as a winning animation or a victory quote that he can say at the end and during the winner circle, just things like that. And just to add on to it, he can have that evil laugh that he does in the show. when he comes up with a plan, he has that laugh from the show. It'll definitely fit him for voice lines. And that's all I could really think of as far as taunts and different animations that he does for his scheming and his evil plans, and he's gonna do something devious. You can have that little laugh. That could be something that's cool. It could be a part of his winning animation as well, with his evil laugh that he does from the show. Now it's time for the Moveset. I don't know what y'all think about these, but I'm curious to see. I had fun creating this. But something I want to really bring up though, games like Super Smash Bros. Have Jigglypuff, Pichu, and that Pichu is a baby version of before he evolves into Pikachu, and then followed by a Raichu with a Thunderstorm and so on and so forth. And Super Smash Bros. Have these small characters, and for those who think he can't fit, they can make him work and make up for his size by having Karen, his super robot partner, fight alongside with him. So that's why it's not just Plankton. When he comes out, he's going to be with Karen to be able to help him out in the fight, and he can be performing his offensive capabilities in this mech that I came up with. It's a battle robot mech that he can fight in. And where am I getting this from? It makes me think of this game called Marvel vs. Capcom, because I played the Mega Man Legends series Tron bond is one of the bonds, or one of the family members of the Bond family that was part of the Pirates and Mega Man Legends. She fights in a mech in Marvel vs. Capcom. Why not have Plankton fight in his own mech that's controlled, named Karen, that can fight with Plankton to help him out in the battles on the field? He doesn't even have to come out alone. He can be with Karen as an offensive character, and they can be a duo, and they can fight together. See what I'm saying? So Plankton could be inside this mech that's created by Karen, his super robot partner or supercomputer partner, to be able to unleash some crazy moves. So that was my little idea. And sure, he's too small. Some people might say he's too small, but having Karen as a pick me up, or some kind of a partner that can come out with him and play similar to how Trombone is with in their own mech, in his own mech, he's going to be easy to launch, but and very hard to hit. So it balances. So he'll be easier to launch, but he's going to be harder to hit, but he's also going to have some unique moves to make up for his size. So if y'all got all these other characters that's small in these other games and fighting games, and Surbot, who's also in Marvel vs. Capcom, who's extremely short, they can definitely make Plankton work in this game. And he deserves a spot in this game because he's an iconic villain from the Nickelodeon series that people like. And he's funny. He's funny, even though he's not a good character as far as being an antagonist. He's an antagonist and not a hero, but he's a great character, and he's funny and fun to watch on these shows to see what he tries to come up with next, to try to do anything that he can to get the secret formula. So let's get into the moveset. I just wanted to bring those up and why I really selected them, why I think he could fit. So going back to the magic trick, that what I was talking about earlier during the culture shop, when he got caught trying to steal the formula or take the package away from the talent show and steal it, he did this move called Shia Kazing. He said Shia Kazing. But he used an explosive technique and he used it on himself. That could be something that could be a name of it references the show, but it's also a great move that he can have in this game. And this could be an explosive neutral strong attack from the Culture Shock episode. And you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can check that out and look up clips. And you can type in Shia Kazing, just I mentioned it in the or you type in Plankton's magic trick, and you'll be able to see him do something, see him do this sort of technique in the episode. And I think this would be something that's really cool to see. Give Plankton and Karen the Shia Kazing for some kind of explosive attack. And he can do this in the mech, fighting with Karen. So there's some other moves I came up with. Some laser bullets, where Karen can shoot projectile attacks, or Plankton can use projectile attacks from the mech or with Karen by using her hands to fire bullets at the enemy. See what I'm saying? That'll be something that'll be amazing to see. And then I came up with something called, since his obsession with trying to get the secret formula, I came up with Formula Stealer, an extended range grapple where Karen can stretch her hands across the screen and grab the enemy and pull them in. So she can have something similar to Sandy's lasso, but it'll have a much bigger extended range. See what I'm getting at? So it'll be something similar to Sandy's lasso, but Karen's going to be able to stretch her arms across the screen, pull the enemy in, and then maybe potentially toss them away, and the player can either inflict additional damage to squeeze them a little bit, like a little harder squeeze, something like that, or they can just squeeze them and then they toss them, and it'll be tougher for any of these characters to try to get out of her grasp to escape. So when she starts stretching her arms across the screen, the player is going to have no choice but to move, because you don't want to get caught within Karen's grasp. See what I'm getting at? It's techniques like that that can definitely be able to work. So I call that Formula Stealer. Something else I came up with, an energy shield that Karen can activate. And with this particular shield, Plankton and Karen can use together, it can reflect all incoming projectile attacks, and it can have a cooldown period. So they can keep it up for a little bit, but they won't be able to keep on spamming it over and over. So it has a cooldown period, and it basically puts a stop to projectile attacks. So SpongeBob shoots like a bubble. Michelangelo throws a pizza at you. Michelangelo throw a pizza at you, SpongeBob shoot a bubble at you or something like that. Ren and Stimpy throwing logs, and then Danny Phantom with his ghost blast, something like that. And the spinning tops from Lincoln Loud, the bones that Dog shoots from his mouth. So you don't get that, and the pies that Garfield that throws, the godly pies that he throws across the screen. This energy shield is definitely going to be able to be handy to stop those sort of projectile attacks. So that'll be really handy for this particular game, or for his moveset. I came up with evil rockets, so Karen can fire homing rockets that can track the player. And I was thinking about Samus Aran from Super Smash Bros. I think from Melee, she had like a homing rocket. It'll track you for a few seconds and then it'll drop. And then it'll deteriorate and just explode. So that could be something that could be used. And then I came up with another move, World Domination. Another little reference to SpongeBob. Come on, World Domination. I came up with that. So Plankton will, I came up with this because Plankton will always usually get stumped in the show, or he gets crushed. He gets crushed and stumped. No, and he gets crushed in the show. Why not give him his own unique stomp so he can stomp SpongeBob and get back at him? I think he's been stepped on SpongeBob on accident when he didn't even know he was there and crushed by other characters in the show. This is a good reference for the show of what he goes through in his struggles. So I just call it this little stomp, World Domination, and with his own unique stomp move, and it can be charged similar to Shredder's diving cross slash move in the air that he does, where you can hold it for a few seconds to charge it up, and he can drop down really quick. I had to get the name of it, so I had to go back and watch the showcase for Shredder to get the actual name of his move, because I forgot the name of it. I didn't want to just say, oh, Shredder's diving attack. It's his cross slash move that can work similarly in the air. So that's World Domination for Plankton. And then one more final move for his moveset I came up with for his recovery move, the Jet Blast. We call it Jet Blast, so Karen can have jets on her, on the mech. So the Jet Blast, or the jets on the undersides, she can have jets come out from the other sides to allow them to fly for a limited amount of time to try to get back on the stage. And Karen and Plankton can work together in this particular offense for his moveset. He doesn't have to come out by himself. He can have his supercomputer partner to help him out in the fight and be in this mech. To be able to assist with his size, it'll make up for his size. And even just again, when he's short, he's going to be easier to launch, but not so easy to hit. So it still fits that proper balance and meets it. So I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about Plankton, and whether or not you want him in this game. I still think he's a good fit for a good villain rep from the SpongeBob universe. You got SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy. Why not Plankton? And I even go as far as saying the Flying Dutchman could be in this game, the Dirty Bubble, and I already recently talked about Man Ray, who also can have his own unique moveset to unleash some offense. But I really think Plankton deserves a spot. I'm not sure if he's going to come out anytime soon, but he has some really good moves, and I had so much fun creating his moveset for him. I know it's a little bit longer, but I spent some time just trying to come up with different moves, and Plankton fighting by himself, he's got to be out. He's got to be out with the Karen and in some kind of battle net that'll definitely fit his forte and his offense. And I think people will buy him. I would definitely buy any character that comes out in this game because it's fun and I like it. But there's so many good reps like Plankton. We need more villains, and I think why not him? Why not him for a good SpongeBob rep? Why not him for an additional villain to add to the roster?